We are now offering data center services, full data center services, which means in English, which is what I'm going to have to break down to you guys exactly what that means. Yes, please. Is that we, well, I guess maybe we'll start off with a little bit of history. So when I first moved back up to Orange County, I was employed by Orange County Online, which is an internet service provider. It's been here since 1994. They started off with like modems. And the owner of Orange County Online and I became friends. And so somewhere along the line there, he didn't want to do the consulting side of the business. So he asked me, Mark, would you like to do the consulting arm and buy that off for me? And I said, yes, I will. And thus Zephyr Networks was founded, which was the next kind of iteration. Now, a very good friend of mine who also worked at Orange County Online split off a couple of years later from Orange County Online and started his own internet service provider. And what's going on is MCIP Services, which is Monroe Consulting, who is still a very good friend of mine, who maintains a data center right here in Santa Ana, is effectively, I'm buying him out of his business. And so we will now be maintaining, well, we have currently, there's I think 15 racks of servers in there we're going to be taking care of. And we'll be managing, maintaining those, and offering those services to you, your customers, your friends. So what do those things mean? Well, that means if you want to, instead of storing your server in your office, and I look around and I know a lot of you have customers who have servers in your offices or servers in your in your customers' offices. We can actually pick those up and put them in the data center where they're safe, secure, powered 24/7, all those type of things. And I'll talk a little bit about that in just a moment. The data center that we're in is in Santa Ana. It's right off of Grand Avenue and right across from the high school over there. It's this really nondescript building that you don't know it's there, but it's been hardened. It's owned by the County of Orange, so your taxes help pay for it. But then us being in there helps cover those costs for the Orange County official stuff that goes on there. So it's a huge 65,000 square foot building. I don't think there's any real estate there at all, but it's effectively what we're doing. What Gene does, we're in real estate now. We're selling spaces and bandwidth and power in this data center. So in other words, if you want to rent space in our data center, now we can help you with that. And so that basically, it's open 24/7, 365 days. There's more than one person there. There's a security person there and 2 technicians on site 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I actually had to go there on Christmas about 3 years ago, which kind of sucked. But anyway, and then they're powered. Like I've sold many of you universal power supplies, little bricks of batteries. Well, they've got huge, like 10 refrigerators kind of tucked together, UPS batteries. They've got generators that can power the whole data center for 4 days. Wow. So worst case scenario, there's an earthquake and Edison goes down, that data center is still running. All the data that's in there is still dishing out information to whoever happens to be on the internet who wants to pull that data in. It's a great disaster recovery planning concept for a lot of people where that data has to be safe, the data has to be accessible. It works. The data center is designed for computers, it's designed for servers, and now we can offer it at really reasonable rates. We are competing now with companies like Amazon and who offer web services, but we are really competitive, and what we do offer that makes us really stand out compared to those other companies is our service. And it's the same service we've been using to take care of your servers, to take care of your computers. It comes down to having checklists. It comes down to monitoring and maintaining those devices. And so we're now doing that in the data center as well. We're not changing anything about still coming out to your offices. We're still coming out to your homes, but we are now also offering data center services. So I was going to mention something about the security at the data center. So when I go to the data center, I have a little badge, and I have to go in and wave a little thing over the magnetic thing, and it lets me in one door, and then I have to wait till that door's closed before I go to the next one. I open the next one, and then they walk me back into the actual room with the raised floors and all the racks of servers and everything like that. If you want, like, it's a terrible place to hang out. It's really cold on one side, and it's really warm on the other side of each one of the racks, because they're designed so that all the cool air gets pulled in one side and all the warm air comes out on the other side. So I don't really enjoy spending all my time in data centers, but it's worthy of experiencing and seeing, and we can offer tours if anyone's interested. I mean, I don't know if I could set it up so we could have a mixer over by the data center, but I'd be willing to give it a shot if you guys are interested. It's
wine on the cold side.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can go back and forth. Either way, we can do tours of the data center.
She's on one side, Mai Tai's on the other.
Yeah. I like that.
Great idea.
So yeah, anyway, it's really if no one's ever been to or seen a data center, has anyone actually ever been in a data center before?
No.
Scott has. Okay.
Is that like the cloud?
It is the cloud, and that's kind of what I'm getting at ultimately. We are the cloud. You know, we are now more of the cloud than we were before, and we are offering all the same services that those cloud type of things are. Now, how do you sell that to your customer? Well, let's just say I went to a doctor's office the other day whose server, they're in a building that doesn't get air conditioning on Sunday. And so it works out that on those Sundays, every Sunday, their server just dies because it gets too hot in their suite. It's the way the sun shines in or whatever it is. But it gets to the point where that server is like at 120 degrees or something like that just because of where it's at. We can take that whole server, put it in the data center, set it up so that their desktops can go into a virtual desktop or some tool, so they can have a little tiny 99 computer. As long as it can communicate to the internet, it can get into a desktop in the data center, and they can work all the time, and they just shut down their systems, their old computers over the weekend, and it doesn't make a difference for them. It's a real easy solution for a lot of people, and the data's secure, the data's backed up, and you don't have to worry about power going down or anything like that because it's covered. We got it covered, the wiring's taken care of, you can even rent the computer, you can lease the computer, whatever you want to on the server side. Let's see. So what is exactly that we're doing? There's a term called co-location, which really means you're just renting space in our data center. And we are very competitive price-wise on that. Managed services is you put it in there and we take care of it. So you can put it in there, we can offer you the actual hardware, we sell you the hardware and put it in there, or we can lease you the hardware, or you can just rent space on some of our servers. And then virtual servers and desktops, basically that's what I was describing before. I'll just use Dr. Tron as an example. He's got a server in his office, and he's also got a number of workstations. Basically what we would offer him is his server with his software in the data center, and he just uses, how many people have used remote desktop or go to my PC or log me in? So all those things, he just uses something like that to get to the system that he wants to get into, and he can do his QuickBooks or his electronic medical record tool right there and access it in the data center, and then when he's done, he shuts off his little, Windows XP computer, even though XP is not supported anymore, but he's not really using that. It's just a terminal to get into the data center. So that is effectively what we're doing, and also, as I discussed 2 weeks ago, your own private cloud, we can do that private cloud, and that's basically you control no NSA interruption. You control the data from your office to our data center, and you completely control it's completely secure. You don't have to worry about anybody else getting in. So I'm sort of running out of time. So I'm sure there's going to be some questions, so please feel free to ask. Yes, Dr. Yamamoto.
Is my backup on that cloud?
Your backup is not on in our data center. It's in Mosey's data center, which is in Utah. And Mosey is owned by EMC, who is really an excellent company as far as storing data. So it's in a good place.
So we're okay.
You're in good shape. Yep. Anybody else? Anybody like any other questions? Oh, you
You're
like
an
that?
NSA agent, and you got the memo on the shirt, right?
Oh yeah, I got the memo on the shirt. So anyway, Pat.
So you have to defrag that?
We take care of all that stuff for you. Yeah.
Real quick, you don't have to worry about it.
Yes, it's quick. The only limitation is the speed the bandwidth between you and there. And in order to have a good remote desktop or virtual desktop, you need modem speeds. So if you've got more than a modem, you're going to have a very responsive solution. And then here's another thing that, if your connection to the internet goes out, which probably you've all experienced at some point in time, Time Warner goes down, or Cox, or AT&T, or whatever like that, you drive down the street where it's still working to Starbucks, you can plug in again and still go to work. And that's a really nice feature. And also, if you have distributed sales force or whatever all over the country, it all comes back to the same data center. So there was one more question, Ed.
Is it just data hosting, or do you do web hosting?
We do web hosting. We are working on maybe having another server to take care of that. So yes.
Is that
We're done.